I don't know what to do. All right, we're going to move on to gun violence. So they discussed gun violence, 16 minutes and 35 seconds. Let's take a listen to this.
With us in the audience is activist Greg Jackson, a gun violence survivor. On this issue, Greg, I know it's very personal to you, but does it matter who's president, gun violence issue? Does that matter?
Yeah, DL, it definitely matters. And I've had the honor of serving in the White House, but I'm here in my personal capacity because it's personal for me. In April 2013, I was shot after a club let out, and the bullet that hit me hit 2 arteries. And I'll never forget getting to the hospital. And before I met my doctors or my surgeons, I met investigators and went through 3 rounds of investigation where I was literally bleeding to death and fighting for my innocence and for my life at the same time, just to find out that I had a 26-minute window left to live due to blood loss and a 50% chance of making it out of surgery. Wow. And I'll never forget that feeling of being seen as a suspect first and a person second. And unfortunately, that's...
Do you hear the noises that these men are making in the background? Like, this is why I don't go to church. This is one of the reasons why I don't go to church. It's all just, it's so fake and phony. Like, I can't get with it. Not saying that all churches are like that, but this is why, for me, this is what prevents me from waking up on a Sunday and saying, yeah, let's go to church. This is one of the reasons. Like, yo, what are y'all moaning for? Celebrating what he's like?
That's what we're seeing in our country, all over our country every single day. Raise your hand if you know someone who's been shot or killed by gun violence. I mean, look.
Now, out of all those people with their hands raised, how many do y'all think if those people were killed by white people or white cops, or were they killed by other black people? Oh, you can't assume that. You can't say that, right? And probably a city that's run by Democrats. In a city where the kids in second grade, from second grade on, probably the majority of them can't read at the proper reading level. Can't do math at the proper, can't do English, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's Philly, all these, whether it's the Bronx. Like, what are y'all talking? The things that y'all are addressing, you need to be addressing with the Democrats. You need to be addressing with the fact that they're incentivizing black men to not be in these households to where the kids don't grow up with a father figure to teach them discipline and responsibility, and don't feel that they got to jump out the window to go do something, to prove something to some big homie that they feel like they want to be a part of because they got a family, because they're lacking it at home.
Look at this. Every single person in this room. This is the #1 cause of death of black youth since 2006. And since I was shot, nearly 1 million Americans have been taken by this crisis. For me, that's one of my childhood friends. That was nearly me. 2 of my mentees, one of which who came to Capitol Hill.
Now, let me ask y'all this. If he was shot by a white person, or if his mentee was shot by a white person, you know damn well they would be saying he was a white cop. He was, they would be giving all the whole spiel, right? Brother, yes, we know that we know that gun violence is a problem in the black community. Who do we think is committing the violence?
To fight for the policies to address gun violence. That's who we're losing in this crisis. And here we are coming out of coming into an era where we have a vice president who has been working on this issue, has been leading the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, who passed the first law in 30 years. Who has been focused on this issue almost her entire life.
What law? What law? Say the law. Because when she was getting interviewed by the National Association of Black Journalists, she was talking about assault rifles and having an assault rifle ban. We know that the guns are handguns that kill people in the hood. That got all the little homies getting shot and shooting at it. This is, yeah, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I feel bad for black women seeing this. This is embarrassing. And what's funny is, even though I feel bad for black women seeing this, black women probably are going to see this and be celebrating these brothers, thinking that they're doing something amazing. Because we tend to go with what feels good, what sounds good, what caresses us, rather than the things that we actually need. This is embarrassing.
Life. And literally has ushered in the steepest decrease in homicides in American history for now 2 years in a row. But during the Trump administration, we saw the steepest spike in murders in American history. And that's not numbers. Those are our friends. Those are our family members. Those are our cousins, our nephews. And guess what he does? Brags about doing nothing. He says, well, we got to get over it. Get over it? I'm not getting over my mentee.
First and foremost, shame on me. I have the stats actually with ChatGPT. A lot of them, and there's been a lot of things that were happening with gun violence. So as far as with crime being reported. So in 2020, they changed the way that crime is reported. So it used to be where they used to get, I think it was it paper or it was different? I think they went from paper to computerized or vice versa. But it used to be, I think 90% of the police precincts throughout the country reported their data. Now with the new system in place, it dropped significantly down to like 60 or 50 to 60%. And New York being one in particular, I think I remember off the top of my head, they actually didn't report theirs. So a lot of this information, a lot of these stats that they're putting out, it's because they changed how the crime is reported. They also changed the classifications of crime. So they changed like violent, they took what used to be like violent crimes, they moved it into another area. So that's why you'll hear a lot of Democrats pushing this talking point, violent crimes down, violent crimes down. Even they did it in the debate. But then I think it was debunked after that, or they put out some new information after that. But this, it's, you know what it comes down to? Success, people that get stuff done, they look internally. People that get stuff done, teams that win, they look internally. When there's a problem, they don't look externally and look to blame or make excuses. Oh, this is why that happened. For factors, people that are successful control the things that they can control, and they focus most of their time, effort, and energy on those things rather than playing the blame game elsewhere. You're sitting in a room full of black men. Sitting in a room full of black men talking about black violence. Every black man in that room knows damn well who's committing the majority of that violence. And it's in mostly Democrat-ran cities. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. Those black men are well aware of it. Whether it's the father not being in the household, whether a kid can't read, right? We've always heard stories about they base the amount of prisons that they're going to build based on fourth grade reading levels. I don't know if that's true or not, but it would make sense because the numbers show that kids that can't read are more likely to commit crime and end up either dead or locked up.
In a casket, watching his mother cry, watching his football coach wonder what he gonna do, watching his teacher say, man, he was so full of promise. 13 years old. I'm not getting over that. We can't get over that.
Donald Trump told y'all to get over that? Like, what are we talking about? Oh man. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk about, this is going to get good. So we're going to talk about sexism. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.